Passion public service announcement. Whenever you're watching this, the second you hear this, that's when the clock starts. From here forward, your responsibility is to be 100% of yourself. Offense be damned. Passion public service announcement. You cannot fully walk in your purpose if you're afraid to be your whole self. You cannot truly walk in your purpose if you're not being your true self. If you don't walk away from this episode or this season with anything else, remember this. Passion public service announcement. Passionate. Let me tell you something. So what is this Passion PSA podcast? Who am I? Well, they call me Passion, short for Passion No Last Necessary. Why is there no last name necessary? Because the first name says it all. I am Passion and all that embodies. What do I do here? I give you the life coaching that you know you need, but don't enroll yourself in. When did I start? Actually, 2017. I'd leave a PSA on my Instagram regarding something I'd observed, and now we've evolved to this. Why do I do it? Why not? If even one person is able to take away one thing that changes their life, someone else's life, or changes the world for the better, then I've done what I was charged to do. So come on in, sit and listen for a while. There's something here for everyone at the Passion PSA podcast. All right, y'all. Y'all gonna have to forgive me if you hear any ambient noise. I have had the window open. The studio is under renovation, which is why I am in this particular corner. The reveal is on its way, but not today. In any event, if you do hear any ambient noise, anything that sounds kind of like an ocean, that is probably from the heater, well, from the convector, because I've had the window open for several days trying to let some of these fumes out so I do not die of toxic inhalations, and it is cold in here. So I am not turning off the convector today. So thanks in advance. Greetings and salutations, my beloved passionates, newcomers, visitors, and guests. Welcome to, what is this, episode 12? 11? I don't know. Of season 8 for real this time of the Passion PSA podcast, where I passion no last necessary. Your Get You Right Guru issue a weekly public service announcement about whatever I've observed or was on my mind. This is a for your consideration zone where the objective is to offer you a perspective you may not have previously considered to A, expand your thinking, and B, aid you in becoming a better version of yourself, and for others. This is a safe space, but not necessarily a delicate one. I'll never rob you of your right to feel what you feel. Same way I won't sugarcoat the truth to make it more palatable. The goal is to get you to higher, more expanded thinking so you can operate as your highest and best self. If you are new here, affirmations are our first order of business so we can intentionally raise the vibration and start on one accord. Let's get on the same frequency. If you're ready, go ahead and take a deep breath. You are always welcome to repeat after me or to take this time to state your own affirmations. I am enough as I am. I am qualified. I am knowledgeable. I am capable. I am equipped. I am proficient. I am sufficient. I am valuable. I am worthy. I matter. I am necessary. I am well. All is well. It is well. Well is all. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Passioners, this was one of those stop and restart episodes. I was about halfway through it when I started to read it out loud, and it was giving essay and not conversation. It was lacking fluidity. I ain't like it. So let's start right now with a passion point. Stop and review frequently. Think about it and speak about it. Just because it reads well does not mean it will deliver well in conversation. And I know that seems more applicable to writing for speech, but we're applying this to life in different ways, right? Some of us struggle with big presentations because we actually don't do so well with basic conversation. The major difference is that it feels like less pressure when it's a more personal conversation, but communication is central to everything, right? We talk about that in almost every episode. We did an entire episode on uncomfortable conversation. Season 6, episode 4. If it's a conversation of importance or significance, prepare your thoughts, organize them. Even if it's a conversation for two, there's no harm in drafting an outline or even a rough draft. You can read it silently, but reading it out loud gives you an opportunity to practice and even pre-select inflection, which is where you want to put emphasis. It'll also allow you to hear it as the listener will hear it. If it sounds like gobbledygook to you, you have a chance to revise it before presenting. Now, are most conversations scripted? No. But would it do a lot of folks some good to think through what they want to say before they start vomiting words? How many conversations have you had where you either allowed your face to say whatever was happening in your head, or you wrestled with your face not to betray you? So yeah, not today's topic, but I honored the pause between my original script and what you're ultimately getting, and this conversation is what happened in between. Do with it what you will. Today, we have a solar return follow-up, a story time, and a passion public service announcement. Then we out of here. Okay, so how did my solar return go? Well, first of all, I made it. I crossed into my new chapter. Happy birthday to me. My niece asked me how I feel, and I don't feel too different. I feel grateful. I think that my gratitude is probably amplified. I feel rich. I feel fulfilled. At midnight, I went out with one of my birthday twins and some coworkers, and we kicked our day off with libations and shenanigans. My original plan was to go on a wellness retreat with my mother and anyone else who wanted to attend. Things happened, and that plan got postponed. I did consider other alternatives, but nothing was falling into place with ease, so I just let it go. I told y'all in the last episode that I was just going to stay in and do work in the studio. I didn't want to do anything mundane or regular. And I know working in the studio seems kind of mundane and regular. But this year I'm focused on healing, correction, and completion. So putting things in order is part of my healing. Sitting still and being able to purge and or relax is the other part. So I was content to be in the studio working, but my cousin was like, "That's a negative." She was like, "We're going to do something." And we had a spa day. So I got my wellness retreat. We went to a spa I've never been to on an island I've never been to. I mean, it was Governor's Island, which is a 5-minute ferry ride from Lower Manhattan, but an island is an island. And it was great. It was cold, especially since the whole week felt like summer. Saturday felt like Jack Frost wanted a last hurrah, but the sun was beaming, so I'll take it. Sunday, I resumed the work I was hoping would have been finished by Friday. There were things. But that is content for another episode. The point is, between the time spent with my cousin, the work I got done in here, and the messages and calls I received all weekend, my heart is full. So here's our next passion point. Sometimes letting go of the thing you want most is the key to getting exactly what you want. The only thing I didn't get to do for this solar return was spend it with my mommy, but I have faith that I'll be able to do that soon. Now, normally, if I'm really fixated on doing something and it falls through, I would be super disappointed and trying to make it happen any way I could. And I would usually be met with a lot of resistance. This time, I just released it. And even though I wasn't in the country of my original plan, I got what I wanted and it was perfect. Now, story time. I told y'all in the previous episode that last year, my personal new year kicked off with calamity and just kept going. And that's even before falling down the stairs. Now, in reflecting on the year as a whole, I thought about an event that I was invited to. And as much as the course of events is important, the person who invited me is even more important. I had a close relationship with them. We've shared quite a bit over the years. So being invited was special to me because I was happy to celebrate them and celebrate with them. Now, passioners, y'all know how often I break out in song in these episodes, right? That's me every day, everywhere. I soundtrack life. So at some point, I'm either singing the song that's playing, the song that goes with the moment, or making up my own lyrics to a familiar melody. This day is no different. In fact, everyone at my table is a music lover. So as songs are playing, we're all singing along loudly and happily. It's a party. So this is appropriate behavior. A request is made for the DJ to hand me the mic. Now, I don't remember what song I sang, but it was a request of a guest of honor, so I honored the request. Later on during the event, the mic was handed to me again. Another request, same guest. I sang again. At some point during the festivities, said guest of honor thanks me for saving the event because although we were making the best of it, the DJ was doing a terrible job. Ultimately, we all enjoyed ourselves. We exchanged pleasantries at the end of the night, and everyone went home smiling. A few weeks later, the inviter tells me that they've been upset with me since the occasion and they had been keeping their distance until they could appropriately express themselves. They said that I was wrong for trying to take over someone else's special day, that I knew better and shouldn't have made it the Sharif show. Passioners, let me tell you something about me. If it is my intention to do a takeover, I'm not waiting until someone asks me to sing a little ditty. I'm going to take it over and I'm going to make a declaration in advance so no one of importance is caught off guard. No one is taken by surprise, and so the music is properly queued up for my entrance. Let me show you.
Wait a minute. Pass it.
The job Christmas party a few years ago. It was formal, so gowns and tuxes were the order of the hour. Now, I had just finished my digital marketing nano degree. It took some doing, and I ultimately had to cut that season short because it was too much to juggle, but I graduated and I was thrilled. I told the event organizer, I just graduated, I'm doing a takeover, and this is now my graduation party. They laughed. They said, okay. I said, I'm serious, and told them that I intended to make a grand entrance and wanted entrance music. When I arrived, I found my point of contact, which was the event organizer. Told him my song, they stopped the music, announced my entrance, and I sauntered in like royalty. It was a takeover. I had multiple tables full of guests that were there for my graduation party, not a Christmas party.
It's about to go down.
Now, coming back to the guest of honor who presented me with this heinous accusation. They know me well enough to know my kind of theatrics and shenanigery. I believe they may have even been there for the takeover. And whether they were present or not, they knew about it. Needless to say, I was shocked and appalled and even crushed that my friend would think I would go out of my way to compromise their special day and to go as far as to entitle it the Sharif show. Now, it was a trigger because I've had these kinds of allegations levied against me before. What I said to them was just what I told you. 1, the songs I sang were requests. 2, I was thanked for my participation in the festivities of the evening. 3, I don't go to other people's events to perform to make it about me. I'm a performing artist. I get paid to perform.
Hello, though, Passion. Didn't you literally just say you went to someone else's event and made it about you?
I sure didn't. I said I told them I was graduating, so I was going to make a general event, my personal event, and the event organizer agreed. I didn't just waltz in and make an impulsive decision, and even if it had been taken that way because of how I was dressed, if I met or exceeded the dress code and someone else felt like I did too much, that would be someone else's problem.
Nah, I feel you, Passion, because I don't ever need a reason to stunt. So if you give me one, I ain't doing it like I'm doing it for TV. Facts only.
And should. Passion public service announcement. Whenever you're watching this, the second you hear this, that's when the clock starts. From here forward, your responsibility is to be 100% of yourself. Offense be damned. You have every right to be all of you. We have talked about this before, and I think it bears repeating. You don't have to shrink for anybody. Am I saying you should intentionally go out and steal someone else's thunder? Absolutely not. But if the shadow of your greatness looms over someone else solely because you exist, they can turn on the flashlight on their cell phone to light their way out of the darkness, or go grab a sweater so they can stay warm in all that shade. But do not play small. Do not be small. Do not live small because someone else needs you to be small or invisible for them to feel visible or big. And it's more than you having the right to live out loud. You have the right to live. Full stop. Quiet in the corner doing your best not to make anybody uncomfortable. You can still make somebody uncomfortable. Not because of anything you did, simply because you are, because you exist, because individuals who are nondescript and unknown to you are aware of you. And because someone in that same room wants to be extraordinary, but they're barely making the grade as extra ordinary. You don't have to be loud to live out loud, but right now, this very second, live loudly. Don't leave your doodles in a notebook because someone else wants to be a cartoonist and you don't want to show them up. Wear the gown. Go for the spa treatments. Eat off the china. Drink out of the crystal. Pop, lock, and drop. Command every stage and every space. And I don't care who the someone is. You not only have a right, you have a responsibility to be all of yourself. If you outsing the hired singer, if you outperform the lead and you were supposed to be a supporting character, oh, well, you are perfectly designed. If you honed your craft and excel, go on and exceed on God's authority. If you didn't do any work and you outshine somebody who put their all into it, let your light so shine. People are going to feel how they feel because they want to feel away. And that's their business. But as of today, if you have been diminishing yourself in any way, stop it. After I had that conversation with the inviter, I called my partner and cried. I was so upset that not only had I been accused in this way, but that this wasn't the first time. I don't have any more bandwidth for other people's insecurities, and I'm not allowing you to be oppressed by them either. While somebody else is out here doing 3 much for approval ratings, you're out here doing your best to try to circumvent criticism and accusation when your creator designed you this way for a specific purpose. Passion, public service announcement. You cannot fully walk in your purpose if you're afraid to be your whole self. You cannot truly walk in your purpose if you're not being your true self. You were not created as a fraction. You were created as a whole. Even if you got 1.5 legs, even if you got 3 fingers on one hand and 5 little dots on your other elbow. And I say that in total sincerity. When I was in beauty school, I had a class named Fatima from the Dominican Republic. On one side, her arm only developed to the elbow and she had the 5 little nubs that, if fully developed, would have been her fingers. On the other side, she had a full arm, but her hand only developed 3 gangly fingers. Fatima was one of the nicest cornrowers you ever saw, designs and all. She didn't let what the rest of society calls a disability stop her, and she didn't let anyone's thoughts, opinions, or insecurities impact her. Okay? She came to beauty school to do a thing, and baby, a thing was done. If her purpose was to defy odds, odds were defied. If her purpose was to show that it can be done with whatever you got, it was shown. She was complete as she was. She was whole as she was. And she completely walked out her purpose. I told you that I got on the line with my partner and cried because I was hurt real bad. We attended an event after that accusation, and I was like, do not ask me to sing. Hand me a mic. Do not put me on the spot because I don't want any problems. I don't have time or energy for foolishness. And he had to stop me like, first of all, my people aren't on that type of time. They would welcome anything you had to offer. You see how if you allow inferior individuals the room, their toxicity can spill over into spaces where people are waiting for and actually expecting you to operate in your full glory? Don't let it be you. That is your strict instruction. If you don't walk away from this episode or this season with anything else, remember this. Do not shrivel, shrink, dwindle, or wither away for anyone. Scale back when your creator says so. Scale back because you've assessed the situation and you see that less is more. Scale back because it's okay if you don't do the most this time, but you don't do it for somebody else's identity struggles, because the flip side is this. After you small up yourself to accommodate someone else's self-esteem or narcissism, one of two things will happen. The same people who see you playing small when this individual is around will at some point see you in your full glory and the jig will be up. Or if this is an individual you have to be around often, you'll grow weary of this act and you'll either blast them for their dysphoria and the burden it puts on others, or when they come in the room expecting you to play small like usual, you'll be your true self and they won't know what to do. Cut out the middleman and the middle activity. Be you. If you're no longer welcome in certain spaces, there are other spaces. If you're no longer welcome in certain lives, remember the 1/8 billionth rule. Now, is it easy to be rejected or no longer welcomed by people you love and care for? Resounding no. But baby, if you're the size of EJ, and you got to act like you're the size of Valentine to be welcomed, you have to ask yourself if it's worth the price of admission. You have to go within and ask source if it's part of the assignment. If your assignment is to learn the value of humility, then the cost of admission may seem pricey, but it's not unreasonable. But if you're supposed to be letting your star shine brightly and you're instead hiding behind somebody else's cloud of inadequacy, you're going to have to play this level again. The objective is to beat the game, not keep playing the same level in perpetuity. I'm done ranting, passionates, but I meant what I said. I'm on it in 2026, and whether I know you personally or not, I'm holding you to not just being your best self, but being your whole self. Listener letters can be sent to my brilliant friend Passion at gmail.com. Donations can be made via Linktree, Zelle, or PayPal. Links are pinned in the comments and in the description box. If I was talking right in this episode, drop me some megaphones or some talking heads. If you disagree, leave me some feedback. Who knows? Your comment may turn into a follow-up episode. Share this with everybody. Don't ask me if it's okay, and don't ask them. Click the share button and send it as far and wide as you can. Help me help others help themselves. Folks are out here drowning. Let's send out a collective lifeline. And that said, your Get You Right Guru is signing off. Go forth. Be great, be filled with bliss, be armed and empowered with knowledge. Be you, boldly, proudly, wholly. You were designed intentionally. So act and operate with intention. In all things, be passionate. See you later.